Hey, what's going on, guys? Crass Businessman here. Today we're going to be talking about the lingering projects phenomenon. So today's quote of the day is, it takes half of your life before you discover that life is actually a do-it-yourself project. And that's Napoleon Hill. So let's face it, most of us, we have a bunch of lingering projects that we never seem to have time for. I know I do, for a fact. Or if you're a listener of mine, actually, we never seem to make it a priority. But if you inventory the projects that you currently have, just list them out, you'll normally find that you've hit a roadblock. Oddly enough, this roadblock is actually completely invisible. It's usually just a point where you've lost motivation to complete the next step, or you don't know what the next step actually is, you haven't clarified it, and sometimes it's a combination of all those things. But lingering projects can take a terrible toll on you mentally. It's a nagging reminder every single time you get reminded of it. And usually that gets spurred on by looking at it, or anything really. So for example, I have a truck sitting in my front yard. It's been sitting there for over a year, and before that it was sitting in a storage unit, and before that, we're just not even going to get into it. But it's been sitting there because a long time ago it had a cracked head, so it needs new heads. I bought a donor motor with good heads about 9 months ago, and I've also got all the tools to fix it, and I even built a garage in that time frame. So why is the truck not getting done? Well, to start, I realized that I've taken an extremely pessimistic perspective in all matters involving the truck. I don't want to fuck with it, but at the same time, I don't want to get rid of it because I'm going to lose money, because the truck in, fair condition sells for like $5,000, but in pieces, maybe $500. And most people have an extreme aversion to loss. Unfortunately, I can't exclude myself from this quite yet, so I needed to change my perspective and look at the positive aspects of finishing the truck. One thing, I'll be able to sell it and get more money. I'll be able to free up a parking space at my house. My house will look a lot less like a used car lot, and so forth. Additionally, the next step wasn't really clearly identified. I know I need to swap the heads, but swap the heads isn't necessarily actionable. Even though, it's really what needs to happen, my brain categorizes that phrase as being way too large of a task to deal with, and therefore it tries to flee to a comfort zone via one rationalization or another. Because human beings really don't like thinking about uncomfortable things. Our body rejects things that are uncomfortable. That's why we do the things that feel good. A better approach is to break down the tasks to the easiest common thing, such as step 1, go outside, step 2, open the hood of the truck. If you make the task so simple and so easy that it would take more work to do literally anything else, it has a tendency of getting done a lot more often. Next, you need to get into the fuck it mode. Raise the priority of this task to the undisputed number 1. You don't even give a shit about eating, sleeping, nothing. This is getting done. Obviously, that's hyperbole. You need to do those things. But tell yourself this has to get done. Pair that phrasing with an emotion and a tone that gets you pumped. Because when I've mentally had enough of a project, there becomes no other option. What I commonly say is, okay, this is getting done right the fuck now. And then, like magic, I get in the mood to do it. And lastly, I can't reiterate this enough, get yourself an accountability buddy and raise the stakes. I've said this in several previous videos because it works. This is why I'm recording this video instead of relaxing in bed. Raising the stakes is when you create consequences for yourself if you don't complete a doable task. It's most effective when it's something that will really hurt, either mentally, emotionally, financially, or even physically. The bigger the stakes, the more likely it is to get done. One common consequence that I use with my buddy is, I'll pay you $200 if I don't get this done. Which, by the way, ironically that we're talking about this, I have until the end of this month to fix the goddamn truck or get signed over to her. So, but these steps, I've used these steps to complete a myriad of different projects, but until very recently, I was unaware that this truck even was in that category. I'd left this lingering for so long. I put it out of my mind and did a great fucking job of it. So a quick recap to attack these lingering projects. First, change your perspective to something positive. Second, clearly identify the next step. Third, break it down to the easiest task possible. Fourth, make the project priority number 1. And fifth, get an accountability buddy and raise the stakes. That's it for this video, guys. Once again, I'm Crass Businessman. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, stay productive.